This week, we got 3 things for you. The first of which, we're going to have a Stogie of the Week, which is right here that you probably can't see, but we're going to tell you all about it because it's really fun, and where I found it, and probably how much I paid for it as well, which I'm pretty proud of myself because I think I did pretty good. So we'll be reviewing that throughout the show today. Then, as you can see, my wine glass here is empty. We're actually going to be doing a wine pairing because I realized that Joe Hollywood is like an expert. I think they call that a sommelier. He's not an actual sommelier, but he's got some really good wine knowledge. So we're going to tap into that and drink some wine on the show that was actually gifted to us from a business associate. Then we're going to do our Stogies of the Week and talk about what we've been smoking. So stay tuned for all that and more on this edition of the Stogie Geeks Show. This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geeks Show. I am here with both Joes, multi-Joe, Joe times 2.
My wife was tasked with keeping the 2 hooligans on lockdown in the house. Didn't want them out there disturbing.
But for those of you who know my personality, I'm kind of not someone you put the Do Not Disturb sign on. I'm like, what? Like,
Joe's going to show up in your yard and be like,
if you could text me, damn it, you can talk.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hozempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up.
And we are broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in lovely Warwick, Rhode Island, where we have the Stogie Geek Studios, which are looking fabulous as always. A couple of cables there, and then we need to hide some of those cables. But anyway, we've, of course, have a wonderful show planned for you today, which includes wine, which I think is kind of fun. Now, I just did this on the last week's Paul's Security Weekly, episode, and no one really knows much about wine.
Okay.
Like, some people know a little more. When I was telling them about the bottom of the bottle has the concave thing, and that's to turn them. He was like, "Well, Paul, you don't really know much about wine, do you?" I'm like, "No, I don't." Because
he
apparently he knew that, but not much more about. In Larry's credit, he does know a little more about wine than I do. And we should actually have Larry on this show. Larry loves to make stuff. Like, he is a builder through and through. And, that shows in his work we've done together in security, but also, like, dude, he makes his own hot sauce. He makes his own bitters. He distills his own liquor. Just every week when he comes in, he's like, "Oh, like, I was like bored over the weekend and I made a whole bunch of bitters." And like all his stuff is handcrafted and just totally awesome. So we should probably he doesn't smoke cigars, but we should have him on the show because he loves to do that. Cigars are weird. It's one of those things, dude, like I was thinking about it. It's not something like you'd grow your own tobacco plant like in your yard.
Sure.
And like roll all your own like other things like alcohol you can make. Of course, people grow their own weed. That's a whole other topic, right? And so that you would grow on your own. But like with tobacco and even like things like bitters and stuff for cocktails, like you might have a garden and grow your own cherries, and I've got people that make they put it in really cheap vodka and let it ferment. I've got other people that take vodka.
It's actually how you make gin too.
Or gin, right? And then they take vodka and they'll put it inside of a barrel that they buy and make their own whiskey out of it. So you can do a lot of stuff at home, but like, dude, cigars, you can. I mean, I know people that have like grown some of their own tobacco, but like, you don't have all the like. How are you going to grow wrapper leaf, binder leaf, and a couple of different types of filler? Like, even if you grow your own, it'd be essentially. I mean, you'd have different primings, but like, no one does that
No.
I mean, if someone does, please write in. I mean, maybe I've heard people
We're
that
gonna roll
have
like 5 cigars, wait 5 years.
Like, well, that's the other thing too. Like
the volume of the sheer cigar.
Like people that brew their own beer, for example, right? Like you got to wait how long from like the whole process takes months. With cigars, like from seed to in the store is what did we say before? It's like 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 3 to 5 years.
Some of the good ones, 5 years. Yeah.
So I mean, you got to be really patient in that process.
Yeah.
So. Which is why we're glad in our physical location we are actually next door to Havana Cigar Club, and we can go buy cigars. I do buy some online, much to some people's chagrin. And we'll get to our Stogie of the Week, which I did purchase online. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I did. So there it is. But we're going to talk about wine. So I've opened the bottle of wine because I read or someone told me that you should let it breathe before you drink it. So I did open the bottle, which I know how to open a bottle of wine. And now when you pour it, I do the... You wanted to hear it. Why don't you do it and show me? Or pour both of us and I'll follow you when you open a bottle of wine. Because there's like a thing you're supposed to do, right? Well, I think it would be fun for our audience to do that.
In theory, do you have the cork?
Yes.
Okay, so...
And it is an actual cork, not one of those synthetic things.
So if you open the bottle of wine, a lot of people like to smell the cork, right? I don't because, quite frankly, I want to taste the wine. But what they're looking for... I do too, so hurry up. But what they're looking for is... depending on how they opened it, most restaurants or presentation, they do the old-fashioned drill. They don't put like a rabbit and it goes quick or whatever. So they look see if there's any sediment left. So of the cork. So we can throw that out, and we're not going to sniff the cork. We're not going to get into a whole gig. So what happens? I was pouring mine left. I'm gonna walk off the set. Here you go. I'm out of here. Right. So what they do, right, is when they pour it, right. You want to just kind of tilt. You want to tilt your glass, and then you pour a little bit in, okay? And then one of the things you want to do is two things here, and then they just kind of swirl it.
Is that just to be obnoxious?
No. Actually, cause I'm getting there. I'm getting there, right? I know you're like, just give me the freaking thing, right? Now, so you would kind of swirl it, and then what you want to do is you see how there's a line, and then it'll start to obviously come down. Yeah. That's called legs. Oh, right? Okay. So the thicker the legs, you can actually see the legs come down, and so you know it should be either a full body. It's the same thing how we talk about cigars. Full, medium, you know, spicy. So this tells me that this is a red blend because you kind of see where the line went to. Yeah. But there's nothing really dripping. No legs. There's really no legs to it. Doesn't mean that it's bad. It is what it is. Yeah. And then you would take a sip. See if it. No, I switched it. Wait, because we're not done. Because after you sip it, you're gonna give it back to me, right? So this is.
Am I gonna spit it out?
No, you're gonna. Okay. You would take a sip. Okay. And now what you're.
Don't I smell it first?
You can. At this point, I'm like, just freaking pour me the wine.
I've actually had this wine on the earlier show, which I mentioned. Yeah. And I like it. I thought it was good.
So we've already tasted. It's not like we're
It's got definitely a fruity nose to it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. It should. That is a 2014 red blend. It is by Bico Divino, and it is called their Pazzo, which is obviously Italian for crazy.
Well, it suits this show and us very well.
It definitely suits this show.
Especially today.
Now, did you sip it?
I did. It was very good.
Great. Right. So it passes your approval.
Now you're taking it away from me.
No, because it passes your approval, right? Right. So that's what they do in a restaurant. So now you two can be fancy. In the glory days, we used to be able to smoke cigars and wine at tables, but we right? And now for the presentation, and this applies for you at home, right? They have different types of wine glass sizes, and the reason being is you never want to fill the wine glass you never want to put enough wine in it to the biggest part of the glass.
Interesting.
So that's why they have different size wine glasses, because different size wine glasses go for that. So in other words, if you're at a party and you fill it up to here and you're walking around, that's not
party foul.
So what we're gonna do is
the wine police come.
So
and
the biggest pot of the glass. Can you go on me right a second? Right? No, crew. Can you focus on Joe? Thank you. Right? This show's coming off the wheels already, right? So this is the biggest part of the glass. So I'm not being stingy. I'm actually following protocol. I'm serving Paul.
But what's the reason for that?
The reason for it is so
I don't spill on myself?
No. The reason is because as you're taking your sip of your glass, you can get the floral palette in, the full floral palette.
It's all about the nose. Okay.
Because if you filled it up to here and you went to do the floral palette, you probably would have wine on your nose.
It's kind of like retrohaling.
But believe me, if you catch me at a backyard barbecue, especially when I have my guitar with me, this is wine filled up to here. I'm walking around with the bottle or something like that. But for the sake of being Rico Suave today, right?
We're Rico Suave.
Since we're having an Italian
That's
wine,
the max you should put in the glass.
That's the max you should put in the glass.
So that I get the nose. Just like when I retrohale, I want to be able to taste through the nose.
Yep. So, you know, if you ever need to moonlight as a waiter or whatever, now you have to go. So I'm not being stingy, but that's just the way that goes. You can put that back over there for that. All right. So, cheers.
Cheers. I'm curious to see what you think of this wine, Joe.
All right.
I think it's pretty fabulous.
Oh, yeah. You got... We could describe this like we do cigars, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's probably...
It's a cigar show, so I think that's
cigar
probably
show,
pretty...
right? So right now, you have like your pre-light, right? You kind of sipping in there. When you get it, the back end, totally sweet, right? The body is thinner. Right, you might think that this is heavy. There is a lot heavier wine.
I think it's probably.
Yeah. So
it's not super light, but it's got a little bit of body to it.
Right,
not a lot. And then I get like a dryness after, it's got a little dryness factor going on to it.
Well, the dryness is you can see how we're getting the bubbles.
Yeah.
Right, the bubbles. That's the hold on.
Some kind of CO2 getting released in there.
No, it's not CO2.
Okay.
Because this is a red blend that has 4 different wines in it. Right, that's the hold on, I have it. My computer's not finding over there. It's so this red blend right here. Let's get into it. Right, so it's 22% Merlot, 12% Syrah, 8% Cabernet Sauvignon, and 58% Sauvignon, and that's the bubbles. So when you
last one, Sauvignon.
Yep. So when you look at the bubbles, because that can be like a bubbly, sparkling, it can come in white or red, right?
Okay.
So you got the bubbles, right? When you get the Syrah, that's the dryness, right? Because if you were to just go straight Syrah, that's the dryness. The Cabernet Sauvignon, you can tell it's only 8% or it's lower than the Merlot of that because Cabernets can be pretty thick.
Yeah. Okay.
As well. Some of them can run thick, but you know how, like you say, Nicaraguan tends to be a little spicier, you know, than obviously the Dominican
It's just like a blend like you would a cigar.
Yeah, it's a blend. And what was put in, and then the 22% of it there is Merlot, which obviously gives it that dark.
Like dark fruit kind of.
Yep, it gives it the dark fruit. Now, what we're supposed to be tasting is herbs, pepper, and spice with some mixed fruit from the heart of Napa Valley. And that's, you know, it gets into more to more there. But when you look at it, that's really the makeup. And this is a red blend.
I also think it pairs really well with this week's cigar.
Well, see, that's where I was going because red blends, as opposed to just a straight Merlot or a straight Cabernet or a straight red, when it has a mix and you're mixing it with cigars, it'll play off the wrapper binder filler mix usually of what's in the cigar, and this was a great pairing. When you brought this to my attention, I said, "Whoever gave this to you likes you."
Yes, it was
retail
actually
value is pretty high. This is a 2014.
My friends Rick and Rich, I used to work with them at my day job. They work for a startup now called Kryptonite NXT, and they sent us a gift as a thank you for them appearing on our show, actually, on one of our security shows. There's also a bottle of rye, which is absolutely phenomenal, rye whiskey, and 2 bottles of this. So big thanks to them. I really like it. And again, I paired this with a Padron 1926. Off the charts. Today we're pairing it with our cigar of the week, which is a good segue into our cigar of the week. There's 2 great reviews, and I'll put these in the wiki. I haven't yet, but I will. Casa Fernandez Miami Reserva Maduro. This comes in a natural and Maduro. I don't have the information on the natural or one of those natural ones in here for some reason. I do think a pork tenderloin kind of fell out. So maybe Joe wants to smoke that afterwards. I don't know what happened. hold on, put that one out. This comes in a natural and Maduro wrapper. This is in fact the Toro size, which I believe is a standard. It's a 6x54 is what it's listed from cigar-coop.com that did a fantastic review, and also Conhead. This review site has been coming up more and more. KOHNHED. They both list the wrapper as a Nicaraguan Medio Tiempo Ligero in the wrapper. The binder is Nicaraguan from Condega. The filler is from Esteli and Jalapa, of course, all Nicaraguan. Con had reviewed the Robusto size, 5 1/4 by 52. He put the body as full, the price at $750 for that. Again, Coop has a full review. His assessment was a 93, and it was memorable. He actually collaborated with Casa Fernandez. They gave him the sample for that. Of course, one of the terms you might hear, Joe, is the Arganosa tobacco. Mm-hmm. And you hear other manufacturers talking about Arganosa tobacco. It actually is the Fernandez family that owns the Arganosa farms in Nicaragua and is famous for Arganosa tobacco. Okay. Now, they sourced that. There's an article from, I'll also put this one in the show notes, from Cigar Aficionado. And they quote people in the industry, like Ernesto Padilla says, it's just unique. The way they cure the tobacco, the way they process it, it's what Cuban cigars should taste and burn like, as he says, with a little bit of a kind of almost not political reference, but making a statement about Cuban cigars, certainly. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting. Now, also, he says this is a San Andreas Maduro. But San Andreas is different. I don't know why. Oh, that's interesting. So Coop is saying, the original Casa Fernandez is using a high priming, medio tempo Arganosa tobacco, follows suit, but this time with a San Andreas Maduro wrapper. That's interesting. So Coop is reporting as a San Andreas Mexican wrapper, which is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, uses the medio tiempo in the blend. So inside the blend is medio tiempo tobacco.
So the wrapper is Nicaraguan.
Well, no. Now I'm getting conflicting reports.
That's not
good. Cool. Coop's saying San Andreas Mexican wrapper. Mm-hmm. The wrapper here is saying Nicaraguan medio tempo Lajero is the wrapper from Conhead.
What I was looking up is my review of the stick a couple months back on Stogie Geeks.
You did the Maduro or the natural?
I did the Maduro, and I think I have Mexican San Andreas.
It wouldn't surprise me that Coop's, Coop's really accurate with stuff like that. So
yeah, I put Casa Fernandez for Stogie Geeks listeners. I posted this on February 5th under StogieGeeks.com. It's in the Stogie section. I have a Mexican I put wrapper San Andreas Mexican. Binder filler, Nicaraguan. Complexity, flavor, and balance. I gave complexity and flavor a 7. Balance, I gave it an 8 because I really think that this stick delivers for sure.
Yeah.
And I did give it a box split.
Nice.
But now that if you're gonna talk about
the price I paid, you'd buy a box.
The price you paid, I'm gonna buy a box.
I'm trying. So there was a report the Robusto was. I'm trying to. Figure out what the MSRP is. Sorry, I should have had this. I spaced on it because that was a price for the Robusto that I gave, and we are smoking the Toro today. So if you just plug this into Google,
a box of 15 in the Toro goes for about $1.28.
Hold on, let's see. Toro MSRP is $196. Online price is around $177, and those. That's listing as a box of 20. That's for a box of 20.
Okay.
Now, I found these online on a website. It was Casa Fernandez, Miami Reserva Toro. This was a bundle of 25. So it came in, and you can see it back there in the humidor. It's just cellophane. That all the cigars came in, no box. And it's a bundle of 25. It was $80, free shipping. Which comes out to $3.20 per stick. For something that was reviewed very favorably. You give it a box split for $80 for a bundle. This is a bundle you should absolutely go buy. And the natural is, equally as good. I think. I think it just depends on what kind of mood you're in.
To me, the natural goes a little sweeter, and this one goes a little bit saltier. Like, are you picking up the salt component, especially with the wine, right on the front?
Yeah, there is. You're right. There is a little bit of saltiness. It's not as. It's very different from the natural, of course, because the wrapper leaf is different.
And I will tell you that having this stick with coffee, even though today was a good catch.
I almost dumped my wine right on the carpet.
Even though that would be the type of day it would be. Joking.
I got it. I saved it. That's good.
If we were doing this with coffee,
it's different with coffee. Yeah,
it's different. Then with this Maduro, with the wrapper component, I can really taste the saltiness just without even taking a puff of it. You know,
it's a really good pairing.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially for the price paid for these sticks. Like, you can't go wrong.
Now, when I do pairings, even if it's with coffee or if it's with wine or spirits or whichever, I guess the best way to describe it is you kind of want that push-pull on your palate.
Sure.
One can push, one can pull. You don't want it like push, so like both of them are stronger, or you don't want it where both of them are just kind of not really doing anything. You kind of want a yin-yang on your palate.
Yeah, you don't want them to both be in the same category family.
Right.
Kind of like on the flavor wheel, or like a spicy cigar with a spicier wine.
Yeah.
You want them. You're right. You want them to balance.
Yep.
And these two balance.
So which one?
Really well.
So which one do you think it balances now? Do you think the wine is a little bit stronger and it's making the different nuances of the cigar come out, or do you think that the cigar on our palate is making us really taste the dryness and then the fruitiness of that thing? And then there's really no.
Yeah, I think they're pretty well balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some people put this cigar as full or medium to full. I'd put it as a solid medium. Now, that could be this cigar has had time to age.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, because there was no box. There was no box date on them as it came in a bundle, so I don't really know how long these have been sitting. They've been sitting in my humidor for about a month or two. Actually, I can tell you exactly when I did order them. I ordered these on February 6th, so these are just about a month, maybe, and not even in my humidor. And I think, like, the characteristics, like sweet, spicy, dry, not necessarily the flavors, but the characteristics are pretty much in line in terms of the body. I think the wine is very similar to the cigar in that respect, that they're both kind of like a medium body experience. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of helping.
Yeah.
So one's not overpowering the other.
Right, but where I was going with it, I understand your description. Where I was going with it is that the cigars components and the wines components are very, very separate. But when they're together, they're pairing. Like, we can taste more. So we're going to taste more of the fruit on the wine.
Sure.
And more of the earth and salt
from the cigar.
What I'm getting
from
the cigar. Than we would if we just sat here and drank a coffee with the cigar.
Absolutely.
You know? So, good stick. It was a good buy.
Was.
If you contact your local tobacconist first, you can probably strike them a deal for sure.
Now, there are other blends that are less expensive. This, I want to say, was...
It's about $32,
in the $30 range.
Yeah.
I saw it on the local shelf at our friends at Joyle's.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, if it was the same year, it was $27.99 locally.
Yeah. So
probably means it's a 2014 that you were...
So this right here, I got a little research. This wine right here, the Biaso Divino Pazzo, it's a red blend. The 2014, which is what we're having, retails anywhere between $27 and $38. There is a flux, obviously, with state, just like cigars.
Just like cigars,
It's tobacco, alcohol, and firearms are highly regulated. Therefore, the prices can actually switch around. But here's the kicker. If this was a 2012, it'd be $349.
Wow. That's a lot for
right?
a bottle.
Yeah, but, and the reason being is because just like cigars, the longer that they wait in age, if they're properly maintained, the better it is. So in other words, if that was sitting in a box somewhere, say they gave you a case and you kept it closed and it was in, 60 degrees.
It's going to be kept cool.
Be kept cool, basement, wine cellar, i.e. humidor.
Right, with some humidity.
Yeah, it got some humidity.
And the humidity is just for the corks, right?
Yeah, but the humidity is just for the corks, and then also for the settlement portion. Mm-hmm. Because and then also a red blend should be served at room temperature or slightly chilled, but not chilled like you would chill a vodka martini or something like that. Just in a colder environment. So like a wine cellar. That's why they have wine cellars. Some of the old restaurants that we have here that have been around, they keep all that all in the basement because that's
It's a natural wine cellar.
It's a natural wine cellar, and it's dark there, as opposed to if that was sitting on your wine rack and you have a bay window shining through, it would taste very differently. But I can't believe the jump in price. I can't. But but basically, if you look at the 2013 version, having it be $349, look at it like that. What that tells me is that for some reason, within their farm and their Napa Valley region and where they got it, that was a good year. Because just like cigars, when we have, say, the Alto Fluente Añejo, or we try the Alec Bradley Filthy Hooligans, stuff that comes out yearly for us, or the Farmer Bill Hatchets, or the Halloweens, we say, oh, last year's was better, or this year's is better. It works in the same way.
Absolutely. Halloween's, I think, it is a different blend every year, but certainly there's lots of cigars that sometimes, I think the wine industry has been very good about differentiating the different years, whereas the cigar industry is kind of hit or miss. Some manufacturers are able to keep the same blend under the same brand and keep the taste and experience the same for the consumer year to year. Certainly Davidoff, has done an impeccable job of that. But you also notice some variations as well, even in the Davidoff portfolio. You just can't help, I think, that some years are better than others because they are slightly tweaking the blend, or nature is tweaking the blend, just like in the wine industry, because it's a product that grows that is affected by weather every year. So I think there are some in the cigar industry that wish we were a little more like the wine industry, in that we were very, very specific about which tobaccos and from which year and from which farm, and we see varying levels of that in the cigar industry today. I think that's fine. I wouldn't want to see the entire industry be kind of so stringent where every cigar manufacturer has to list out all the components like FDA wants and has to list out all the years and all that stuff. I think it's fine the way it is. If some want to do it, I think that's great, and if some don't, I think that's fine too.
The wine industry, just like cigar is or just like cigars could potentially be, it's very highly regulated within that regards too. They get pretty rowdy with their blends, and it's a whole other world. My brother's friend, and I offered to have him. He's a sommelier in Italy.
Nice.
And his parents live in Bristol, and when he visits his parents, we should probably get him in rotation.
Absolutely.
We're talking he went to school. That's what he went to school for. There's a whole curriculum.
Yeah, we've had Tony Bellato on the show before. He's a sommelier and a manufacturer of cigars, and runs a shop. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We've had him on the show before. Cool. Yeah, you guys could totally nerd out.
I just like it. I think it's a change of pace. A lot of some local shops have a wine selection, and some say it doesn't sell. I think just like a cigar, you can open a bottle of wine. Average the 750 milliliters is about 4 glasses anyway. Have a couple glasses with a friend and chill out. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you go through the whole bottle on your show?
Yeah, Larry and I split the bottle.
Oh, okay, so it was all right.
It was a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
So over the course of 2 hours, we split a bottle.
That's cool. And you were just and
that was fun. I wasn't wasted afterwards either.
I know you said it in the beginning of the podcast, but what were you smoking on that? Oh, it was a Padron.
A Padron.
Yep.
I want to say it was both a 1926 and a 1964. It was the 1964, the little short
the new ones?
Robusto, the new ones. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
It's actually a stick of the week this week.
Okay.
For me. You want the name of it?
Well, no, you do the Soberano?
Yeah. The Padron Soberano Tubo 1964.
Oh, that's a Tubo. This one's not a Tubo.
Oh.
This one's the short Robusto.
Okay.
It was and one of those, and then 1926 number 9. Maduro.
Number 9 went.
I think they were both Maduros, so they both paired really. I think because they were both Maduros, they paired really well with this wine. Yeah.
For whites and cigars, I like what I like. We can do some experimenting, but
I'm not a big white wine person, but
I'm not either. And luckily for me, my significant other isn't either. But the Riesling is Riesling and wine. Like if you're gonna go white, just don't go with a Blanco. Don't go with
a Riesling.
Riesling. It's kind of like a kind of I won't say foolproof.
I like Riesling, but I don't like them to be too sweet.
Yeah, Yeah.
And there's lots of options out there for Riesling.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is it Germans make really good Riesling? I want to say.
Yeah, they make it. It's their. They have the dessert wines.
Yeah.
There. It's a sweeter.
It is sweeter. Okay.
If it's from Germany, as opposed to if it's from Chile. I like a lot of reds from Chile. Like I like it. Supposedly the soil's rockier and it's higher elevated. That's what determines if it goes from a Merlot to a Melback, actually. So the process is the same, but with a certain elevation, according to FDA regulation and where it is in rockier soil, it's not a Merlot, it's a Melback. But the fermenting process is the same.
Right.
So it's like if you like Merlots in cigars, and you're like, what's this Melback type stuff? You say, well, the process is the same, higher elevation, different name, And you can get into tins if it's oak barrels, not oak barrels.
Oh yeah, we could have a whole show. About
it's just like the sticks of the week that we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
let's do it.
Can we pour some more?
Yes, absolutely.
Before we get going.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, what is the Padron Soberano Tubo? Are those the box? Those are the box pressed ones.
Those are the box pressed ones.
Yeah.
I had the Padron Soberano Tubo. It's an anniversary series, 1964. Obviously, it's by Padron. It's a Maduro. Size I had was 5x52. Wrapper binder filler is all Nicaraguan. Complexity, flavor, and balance. I gave it all 8s on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 to 10.
Wow.
A scale of
Wine
1
is kicking in already.
Yeah, it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it all 8s. It delivers good complexity where you can kind of taste where the cigar is going. I'll get into that. Balance. I've been judging balance of the cigar by how it gets towards the end. Is that when you look at a balance of a cigar? Are you like looking like balance? Like when I'm doing my Stogie reviews, looking at balance, saying, okay, it's enjoyable in the beginning, enjoyable in the middle, and it's really enjoyable towards the end. Or do you balance it like within the blend?
Both.
Okay.
Right? I think you kind of talk about the journey the cigar takes you on from, first third, second third, final third, and give an assessment of both strength, body, and flavor in each of those thirds. And sometimes that can be very much the same, which doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad cigar, just hasn't undergone a lot of different change-ups. And then you also talk about, there's like the balance of the smoking experience, and then there's the balance of the flavor. Sometimes that can differ depending on what stage of the cigar you're in. Sometimes it stays the same.
So with this stick, it's available in 2 different sizes. You can check out those sizes, StogieGeeks.com. I put it under the Stogie section. When this cigar starts out, you got some notes of pepper, especially on the retrohale. You get some sweetness on the palate. I was getting a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of coffee. I did pair it with the coffee. The retrohale for this cigar is really where it's at. That being said, it comes in boxes of 15. So for the rating, I think it's box split with a friend, and you can do rock, paper, scissors for the extra. Extra ones, and so that's my official rating for that. When I did some research on this cigar, some people are giving flack on the tubes because they're square.
I think it's cool that they're square.
I think it's different. It's different. It's different. It's different.
I like the packaging on them.
I like the fact that one of the classic facings in the older cigar company not only is changing some of their blends, but they're also saying, hey, we're going to use some new packaging for presentation. Plus, it's a great cigar for a wedding because you can keep it in the inside.
It looks classy too.
Well, no, because you keep it on the inside. You're not going to carry the leather pouch or anything like that. So I give it a box split with a friend.
Have you had these Nat Sherman
yes.
Metropolitan? That's this one, right? It's a Nat Sherman Metropolitan, Connecticut.
Yes.
What'd you think of this little Robusto?
Awesome flavor, sweetness. Lasted all the way till the end. It's actually in my rotation for the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, well, because it's like a nice creamy.
Yep.
I called it a nice creamy.
Yeah. You get creamy. I paired it with coffee. Had 2 last week. It's a great pairing for sure. Coffee, and then with Nat Sherman, I don't know. I tend to get like what I call that natural tobacco flavor. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for a good classic old school stick that's creamy, the Robusto size in the morning, it's awesome. I would definitely give it either a box split or box worthy. If you do some shopping and convince me on some price, then maybe we'll go to box.
I'll tell you what I paid for them. Divided by 8. It's weird. They come in boxes of 19.
Yes.
Or 18, rather. 18.
Mm-hmm.
It was $55, which brings it to around $3 a stick.
Yeah.
Yes. Got a good deal on those. I particularly like that nuttiness in the flavor profile and the creaminess. It's a great morning smoke with coffee. It is probably on the lighter side for Connecticut's, although that the flavors I find, especially in the nuttiness, are very pronounced. Like it has that nutty, almost caramel, which is weird to get that from a Connecticut, but it's a very pronounced nutty and caramel flavor that's very creamy on the palate. So for that reason, I really like them in the morning. I've gone through almost the whole box at this point. They're very smokable. And I think a change of pace just because of the way they present the flavors to you in that small format in a Connecticut wrapper. So those listening know that I really do like Connecticut wrappers. So
yeah, it's very sweet and creamy for sure, and it'll last all the way through the end. It will not get
yeah,
harsh,
it doesn't give up. Yeah,
you know. And then I actually bullet cut it, so it really doesn't get harsh.
I like that. I gotta try bullet on them.
Yeah, I'm usually.
I've been doing just
bullet,
straight cuts lately. I do like a V cut too.
Yeah, I'm usually bullet or V first choice. There, but some are just not. You find out quickly, and if you're using your cutter as opposed to a shop's cutter, you can switch from bullet to guillotine if you need to.
Correct.
You know,
Start with the bullet.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got, Joe?
I had the Oliva Connecticut Reserve. I had that in a Robusto. That's a 5x50 wrapper.
That's a classic cigar.
Yeah, it is. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Connecticut. Binder and filler are both Nicaraguan. Complexity, I gave it a 6. Flavor and balance, I gave it a 7. It's available in 5 different sizes. All of those sizes. I've actually had all of the sizes. The Lonsdale, the Robusto, Toro, Torpedo, Churchill. It's a good go-to. The first puffs of this stick, if you're new to smoking and you say, okay, you know, I'm gonna try a Connecticut, it's an Ecuadorian Connecticut as opposed to a Connecticut. So when you first light it, you do get a blast of pepper, and it seems a little strong. Just give it half an inch, not even. It's gonna mellow out. What I got was once I started it, it started off as a medium, and then it went very quickly down to a creamy texture on the palate. The Nicaraguan tobacco gives it a really good balance of pepper and wood, and once the stick gets going, it really doesn't deliver anything crazy other than the creamy texture over on your palate. That being said, in regards to the stick, it is a classic. I do like it. I'm not really myself is not super high on a lot of the Connecticut's, but I did give it a 5, and I'm sure as I continue to smoke it, if I were to revisit it, it would definitely be a box worthy or a box split. You know.
Nice. I can't find a review on this cigar. We might have one of the only ones. The Caldwell Sevillana.
Oh yeah.
Churchill.
Yep.
Sevillana
That's
Reserva.
part of the Junior Varsity series. Now Caldwell has a couple of series out, but that was one of the ones.
All right, so hold on.
It was that one.
The junior. So this is a Junior Varsity.
Yeah. So when you
series.
go to
Okay.
Yep.
So Coop did review this in 2014 then, but the band looks different from the one that we have. It doesn't have the Reserva. There must be a regular Caldwell Selection Sevillana.
I think it's Sevillana, but
Sevillana.
maybe.
Sure. Wow. You're correcting me on pronunciation. That's first.
Well, we haven't been here in a while.
I think the junior varsity. I think the junior varsity line is different, and this is the Reserva line.
Oh, really?
So I think it's a different cigar.
Well, I do know that the Sevillana was part of the.
It is part of the. Yeah, but it's not the Sevillana Reserva. Sevillana Reserva seems to be different, and I can't figure out for the life of me what the difference is in the blend.
Mm.
Did you review the cigar for the show yet?
No.
Okay.
It's on my list of things to do.
I know I gave you one.
You gave me one. It's a Connecticut, right?
It is a Connecticut wrapper.
So
That's really all.
I'd probably get to that in like 4 or 5 weeks from now.
Oh, here we go. So it's an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, Dominican binder, and a combination of Nicaraguan and Dominican filler. It's like your standard. It's like your standard issue Connecticut. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's not a bad thing because again,
it's a staple.
These all came in for $3.20 as well, and it came in a really cool box. The box just kind of looks like a crate, but to get a Churchill for $3.20 that you're going to smoke in the morning, I really liked it. I thought it was a good, solid smoke. I mean, I'd probably say for most people this is going to be a $5. Like you're going to get a $5 on sale, pay your $3.20 or whatever. Mm-hmm. At that rate, I would probably put it as a $5, maybe a box split. This is a great golfing cigar. Like first thing in the morning, light it up. It's got good flavors. Again, nothing really to write home about. I think they did a nice job of the cigar. Again, it doesn't really stand out in the Connecticut lineup for me. Mm-hmm. I just kind of like to smoke them when I'm doing something else or, maybe want to sit down with a larger cigar in the morning that I'm not paying as much attention to. I think that the Nat Sherman Metropolitan has a lot more depth and body and flavor to it than well, you haven't smoked this one yet, right?
Not the Reserva, but the Sevillana.
If you compare it to any other, I mean, this is your standard run-of-the-mill Churchill, but a Connecticut Churchill, again, not a bad offering in the lineup, especially at that price point. So if you're a Connecticut fan, you probably want to have a few more of those and work it into your rotation. If you're not a Connecticut fan, don't go there. Go get your Nat Sherman or something different.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Esteban Carrera's Black Cross. I had the Figurado. It is a 5 3/4 by 46 binder. Get this, it's Habano Cafe Nicaraguan.
What's Habano Cafe?
I have been doing some research and trying to find out the definition of Habano Cafe. And from what I gather, that's what they're naming from that factory, that Habano thing. So it's like that's what I came from. They were talking about, it's Nicaraguan. Usually Habano Cafe comes from this region. There you go. Binder is Nicaraguan. Filler is Nicaraguan with some Jalapa Valley Ligero. Complexity. When it had Ligero in it, I kind of expected it to be a little bit more punchier. Complexity, I gave it a 6. Flavor, I gave it a 6. Balance, I gave it a 7. It's available in 6 different sizes. I've had 2 of the 6 sizes. I listed them on the Stogie Geeks website. Basically, what I was getting was natural tobacco presence throughout the whole stick, right? And then the second third has some wood and cedar with a little bit of pepper and spice. But what I didn't like about the stick was when I was about halfway done, it just faded. Mm. Now, I've had some other stuff from Esteban Carrera's that I really, really liked and gave slightly higher ratings. But that being said, I gave it a 5 because if you can get past like the first third, it really turns into it's just a basic stick.
Have you ever had an 858 sun-grown?
858. Yeah. Oh, yes.
The sun-grown, not the. It's interesting.
You had given me the 858 sun-grown.
So the sun-grown has. I don't know if you can zoom in on this. Let me take the wrapper off of it.
Had one last week.
The cellophane rather, and so if you see that, see how it has the black band on it. I was just perusing a review of the 858 sun-grown, and this black footband was red, and when it's red, that means it's an 858 Rosado. Totally different wrapper. Totally way rarer of a cigar. Like that cigar is super rare. I've maybe had one in my entire life that I had to trade a lot of other cigars to get.
Really?
I think it was Mark Jr. The Rosado is absolutely amazing. Sun-grown is a really good cigar, not as rare. but different from the regular 858, which I believe is a Cameroon. There's a Maduro 858, which is a Connecticut broadleaf. Reading from halfash.com that did a review. You can find standard production sticks for $4 to $5. Sun-growns are about $7, which is about, this was in 2011, so I probably paid closer to $8 or $9, and I bought a box of them. Because, again, they're not super rare, but when you see them in the store, they're not going to be there forever because it's still a limited production. So you've had this stick before?
I had it last week.
I mean, they're awesome, right?
No,
you don't think they're awesome?
No, I had it with coffee.
Yep.
And I've had coffee all morning. One of those mornings. It was last week, and it did not pair. Like, it was a good cigar, and I know enough to say, okay, this is a good cigar, but it's just not paired with this coffee right now.
Interesting.
It just, so I subsided from the coffee, got some water, wrote it out. Very salty, I found it to be. Very, very salty there. Sun-growns, I'm just starting to get into them. I've had the Drew sun-grown.
Yep.
I've had Ashton have a sun-grown? Not Ashton. Who makes Ashton? San Cristobal, one of those. I've had a couple of sun-growns.
You're testing my knowledge.
I have the Laroma.
I want to say one of the Ashtons is
somebody who was in the Ashton factory. Yeah.
The VSG is Virgin Sun-grown.
Okay,
VSG is sun-grown.
Okay,
I was going to say one of their major lines.
I was picturing it, and the sun-growns. I don't know. I got to find something that really pairs well with it, other than water.
I think it's a very like a subtle wrapper. Like this 858 for me forces you, I think, to smoke slow. I think it burns slow. And it's interesting. It burns the same way as the VSG, so now it doesn't surprise me. They're both the sun-grown wrapper because they do burn very. And I actually had an Ashton VSG from the Tubo. It's got some age on it. It was very, very good. But the flavors are subtle, so you have to watch what you pair it with because whatever you're pairing with can easily overpower the flavor, especially from that wrapper leaf.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking like
it's just my assessment.
Florida Los Antilles has a sun-grown.
Yeah, there's. It's a popular wrapper for sure. VSG is probably one of the more popular ones, and the 858 sun-grown.
Yeah, and I'm
definitely one
to check out. Usually my go-to. So
Stogie Santa is really high on this cigar, and always kind of promotes when they come out. And I know why. It's got great balance, great flavor, and again, it's subtle, so you got to pay attention to it. So.
Yeah, I got it.
It was good. I mean, this is a box worthy. I think if you find them, you got to pick them up. They age really well. I think it's a great addition to anyone's humidor.
Yeah, it was for me. It just came across really, really salty. I liked it. I enjoyed it. So you gave it a box worthy?
I would box worthy. Box worthy. What would you rate this wine in the cigar so far? You think?
Would I use the Stogie Geeks rating?
That's a good point. What do we use the Stogie Geeks rating on wine?
I like,
like a case worthy? Is it a case worthy with case worthy wine?
Oh yeah, absolutely case worthy because you know why? You definitely.
Well, it's going to age. Do the blends age differently or better or worse than a?
Well, that 2013 is $349.
So
right?
there you go.
So is the 14 going to go from the 37 it is now to, say in 2020 is the 14 going to be $150? Is that
like an investment thing? Do people? Now that you say that, I've heard of people that like invest in the wine.
Oh
right?
yeah. There's a whole. Some people buy cases and sit on them. Like I have a friend named Gilly. We did MMA together.
I think you went past the point there, Joe. You didn't leave enough room
I'm
there.
getting a little selfish, right? Right? Like I said.
Hold on. I didn't know we were filling our glasses up that much.
Yeah, you can fill a glass up. Right.
All right. Here.
I have a friend named Gilly, and he was all about this wine called Firesteed.
Yeah.
Right. And like he bought cases, and we actually bought these cases for like $6, and like restaurants were buying them off of distributors for like $20. So
for the case,
yeah.
How many come in a case?
No. Each bottle was $6, right? And then at the time, it just blew up. It's one of those blends that blew up, and people were buying them for $20. Now we only had like 3-4 cases.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is there are people who think
invest,
that,
right?
They invest in I don't know, crateful, I don't know how
you buy beyond a case, right? It's a pallet full or a crate or whatever. Yeah.
But I remember having us do that because Gilly's the type of guy who'll call me up. I got this wine, blah blah. You want to go halfsies on a? I was, yeah, sure. It's kind of like Walter
with cigars.
Right.
Right.
yeah. But there are people who do get rowdy.
It's pretty awesome. So this is case-worthy wine, we're saying.
Oh, yeah. Because even if you go to someone's house, like, say, you know, you and your significant other get invited to go over.
I think people are going to be really impressed with this one,
You
actually.
bring it, it's like, oh, wow. The worst is when you bring over a good bottle of wine.
And no one drinks it.
No. And you know it's a good bottle of wine, but you got people who, like, they would leave, like, this much on the counter.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, really? It's kind of like, you know.
When you leave the same cigars.
It's the same
Dude,
thing.
like, you took the first third of my Padron and you left it there.
Like, I've actually went to a bachelor party, and we've had the Atabay, right? I got a fiver of Atabays, right? And I went to a bachelor party, and like 2 of the 5 people were like, they smoke cigars, but not. They're not like you know. They probably smoke cigars like once a month, and they're like, this is the most different cigar that I've ever had. And I have others that got the minty fresh. You know, we talked about that on the show, and but they were like, what is this? Like, I've never even heard of it. Obviously, you know, they're not following, and they really enjoyed it. You know, sometimes I like to do that for like blind stuff too. Like, you have friends where you know but I do the same thing with the wine for sure. You know, just be like, hey, you know, here's his, you know, try it. You know, I remember my friend Matt is like, he has like a wine cellar. He rotates his own style. He gets pretty geeky on that stuff, and he likes to come over and he likes us to enjoy it. And we do. And some of them, like, I think he waited too long. Like, they were either on the bottom or, you know, the way his wine thing was set up, when I say about the bay window, he had it on display next to his fireplace. And the first thing I said was, like, dude, like, you need to, like, that needs to be, like, totally away from your fireplace. Right. Or you can, like, plow through the stock quicker. And you can just tell, like, he'd be like, oh, I got to move that wine. But he built it when he built the house. You know what I mean? And I'm like, didn't you think this out? Like, you know a lot about wine. Right. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I have a couple more.
Sure.
I went old school. I posted this on Instagram. The Christoph Intensivo.
I never had that one that I know of.
You had to. It's
an old blend, right?
Yeah, it's an old blend. It's been discontinued. Format is torpedo. It's a 6 6.25 by 52. You have a I know you're gonna help me with this one. A Brazilian Arapiraca Maduro. All right, I gotta learn that. Right.
You gotta practice in the mirror before the show. Arapiraca.
It has a Nicaraguan Cuban seed, a Nicaragua, and then that's the binder. The filler is Nicaraguan, Dominican, and Honduran. Complexity, flavor, and balance. I gave them all 8s. It's available in 4 different sizes. These sticks are still kicking around the shops, you know. Blast of pepper, and then you do get some cedar and coffee with some sweetness. I did give it a box split. Cool burn. You do have to keep your lighter around for it. It does go out a little bit, but you know it's got a cool burn to it. I gave it a box split. You never had one? You had to have had
I
one.
must have.
Yeah, you.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
we've been doing the show so long now that stuff I reviewed a while ago, I don't remember, dude.
I went old school. You know, I saw him kicking around.
The cigars I do remember are probably the really good ones that you want to smoke.
There you go.
So if you were to quiz me, you have to be kind of specific on your quizzing. Like, you probably have to be like, hey, Paul, do you remember this stick? And it's like thumbs up or thumbs down if I remember it. If I remember it, that means it was really good.
Yep.
I smoked the Cardinal, EP Carrillo Cardinal Impact. This is their newer line. There's the original Cardinal. This is the Cardinal Impact, which are box pressed. Nicaraguan binder and filler, the Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, the EP Carrillo is kind of famous for. This is the Robusto size 5x52 box press. Suggested retail price I'm showing listed here is $6.75. Well, whatever 70 divided by 20 is what I paid for them. Wow, that's really cheap.
Yeah.
Is that below $3 a stick? Hold on. Dude, math is hard. What did I say? 70 by 20?
Yep.
$3.50 stick, sorry. Yep. So roughly half suggested retail price. And I think they're really good. Great flavor profile. I love that they're a box press, which means they put a little less filler, which means I get a nice loose draw. So when the mood for something that has a little more cloud of smoke, a little easier draw, good flavor, I'd say they're medium to full, like in that medium full range, and good flavors, nice spice, a little bit of sweetness, and for the price, I thought it was a great buy. I think it's a great everyday kind of smoking cigar. Not something you want to necessarily take down first thing in the morning, but a good afternoon or nighttime cigar. And the larger sizes, I think, would be good for golfing when you have a little more time. I like the Robusto, had some great flavor. I don't know if I tried any of the larger sizes recently. I might have only tried a sample, but I smoked quite a few from this box, and I really like them. I would call this one a box split. This is a box split for me, even though I got a box, but I got a deal. So
sure. I had the Tatuaje TAA exclusive 2016.
Mm-hmm.
This was a Toro. It's a 6 1/4 by 50 Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. Binder and filler are Nicaraguan. Complexity and flavor, I gave it an 8. Balance, I gave it a 9. It's available in 2 different sizes. It's obviously an exclusive for the TAA shops. There starts off with some strong pepper. Then you get some earth and a little bit of coffee notes in there, and it's so smooth. It's strong. It's a solid medium, but it'll go right towards the end. I've actually smoked those down to the nub. I was able to do a box split with a friend for them. I had a friend who got his hands on some there. And so with that being said, I gave it a box split rating for sure.
Nice.
Especially if I do it, right? If I do the box split, that makes the rating easier. If I've actually bought the box or bought the fiver, did you ever notice that?
Say that again? If you bought the box,
it makes the ratings easier for Stogie Geeks. Oh, I did a box split with a friend.
Yeah.
It's a box split.
There you go. There you go. You enjoyed your experience of box splitting.
Yep, absolutely.
I like these for the end of the day. This is the 2000 series LFD. This is their little Cameroon, their smallest size box press thing. I forget what they call the size. I picked up a box of these a while back. I like these as kind of like an end of the day kind of thing. If you've ever seen the LFD guys, Lito Gomez and the like, they've always kind of got one of these hanging out of the corner of their mouth whenever they're doing anything. When you see them, taking pictures and put them on social media. I think it's a great little cigar for that. Like when you're doing whatever, you're just kind of always. Some people like these first thing in the morning too. It's Cameroon wrapper. I think it's a good cigar. I think they're box worthy. I think they need a little time to rest in your humidor. I noticed when I first started smoking them, they had a harshness component to them. But as they aged out a little in my humidor, I find them much more enjoyable to smoke. They're not as harsh. They got a little punch to them. So I think it's definitely one that you can age for a really long time and have a good experience, even if they've been aging for a long time in your humidor. But I would definitely let them rest good 6 months to a year in your humidor before it's one you kind of tuck away for a little while. I think if you are going to smoke them kind of later in the evening, you want that strength, certainly, smoke them when you first get them. And then I noticed they got a little smoother as they aged. So,
awesome.
Good stick.
Awesome.
What else you got?
That's it.
That's it for you?
I'm tapped out. You have any questions?
Did you have that Negociant monopole number 3? Did I give you some of those? Remember we went to that event a while back?
Oh, yeah. The event at the...
It's like a year ago.
Yeah, where we had the pork tenderloins.
Yeah, where I got the
blown through those Negociants within 72 hours of...
I did the same thing, dude. I smoked them all. Yeah. Like they didn't stand a chance in my humidor because they're a little more fuller-bodied Connecticut feel to them.
Yeah.
They're not over the top on strength, but they got quite a bit of character and body to them.
No, yeah, absolutely.
And so I picked up a box of the number 3 Negociant monopole. That one was expensive. It was $246 for a box of 25. So it's a bit premium. I paid a premium price for a premium cigar. But I love smoking them. They're friggin' awesome. They're probably one of my favorite. I mean, they're right up there with some of my EP Carrillo, New Wave Reserva smokes. Like they are pretty darn close to being my go-to Connecticut smoke, dude.
Yeah, I was at your offices on Friday, And when I left, I went to local cigar
Beautiful.
shop, and I actually grabbed. I was like, I feel like a negotiant. I didn't want anything too full,
Right.
Because I've been smoking some full stuff throughout the day, and I was like, but I don't want a Connecticut. I don't want. I actually had that, and
It is a Connecticut wrapper, right?
yeah, yep. I
'Cause
think
it
it's a
doesn't
Connecticut broadleaf.
I mean,
I did post
no,
it.
it's not broadleaf. It's
What is it?
Ecuadorian Connecticut. Hold on, let me pull it up.
posted it
Let me
on,
pull it- I just thought of it like.
On Stogie Geeks.
All right, so Coop did a review of the number 2. He gave it a box split. The number 2 is actually the Torpedo, which I think is good, not the best of the bunch. I actually like what I say about the number 3, 6 1/8 by 48. Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, double binder, San Andreas Mexican is one of the binders that it looks like the other one is not disclosed with Nicaraguan filler. I think that Nicaraguan filler really complements the Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper very well. It's like that little bit of creaminess coupled with that little bit of spice from the Nicaraguan with whatever they're doing with the binder. Like the whole package just seems to come together for me. It's definitely box worthy. Even at that price point, I'll pay a premium for this because this, to me, is one of my go-to Ecuadorian Connecticut's, largely because it's so versatile too. I mean, I can have these first thing in the morning, have them later in the day. It delivers fantastic flavors. So, yeah, cream and cedar, sweet citrus. I'm with Coop on that one, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's spot on with the flavors there.
Yeah.
It's very complex. A lot of characteristics. I would like character. It's got a lot of character for something that has an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. It doesn't go on either end of the spectrum, where it's that kind of boring, super mild Connecticut, and it's not that over-the-top compensating Connecticut that's trying to do too much in the Connecticut. It's right in that sweet spot for me.
It's complex Connecticut.
Yeah, love it.
It's got a complex
it's awesome.
blend. Yeah, absolutely.
Ever since the first time I lit it up, I was like, this is going to be a Connecticut cigar I'm going to smoke. And I forgot about it for a while. And I finally, for whatever reason, was like, yeah, I need to get more of those. And I chose that number 3 size, because again, the Robusto doesn't give me enough. Like I smoked the Robusto and I kind of feel like I just want more. The Bellicoso doesn't do it for me, and I'm not a huge Bellicoso fan. Just doesn't. I don't think it pulls and draws the way I like it to pull and draw. But the 6 1/8 by 48, spot on, dude. Like it's the belle of the ball. It's one that I highly recommend to our listeners. So, what did you think? Coming off some of our reviews of this week's Stogie of the Week, Casa Fernandez Miami Reserva Maduro in the Toro size.
It's box worthy. No question. It's box worthy. I've already paired it with coffee. It's great. We've paired it with wine.
Fantastic.
I think we have to pair it with that rye, maybe,
After the show,
After
we're going
the
to pair it
show.
with some rye.
Yeah, we'll probably. Yeah, it's been one of those days.
You're going to try it with the rye. I'm telling you, that rye is absolutely. What did we say it was? Cockatoo.
John, help us. What is it called?
Concoctin.
Tonkton. So hold on. Yeah.
Hold on. We'll get that bottle.
We'll get that before we go. But yeah, after the show, we're gonna finish this cigar and finish our wine with whatever John tells us what that is.
That was really good too. I'm telling you, my friends really hooked us up.
Happy Monday, Paul.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Catoctin. What's the word after it? What's the word after it, John?
Catoctin Reserve?
There you go.
Sure. We'll go with Catoctin.
We will.
It's a terrible name, is what we're saying.
Yeah,
a terrible name.
We were going back and forth. We're going to have it on. We'll feature it, at least the bottle display. It might be empty by next week.
I think we should do more pairings. So I'll give our listeners and you some heads up of some stuff that I want to try for pairings here on the show.
Catoctin Creek.
Catoctin Creek is the rye. Maybe we'll feature that next week. We're going to sample it after the show just to make sure it's worthy.
We're probably going to need a new bottle for the show.
We might. But I was doing some shopping, and so a couple things. I got I forgot what I actually put that in now too. I took one of those little pieces of the barrel that they sell that you put in your bottle of whiskey, and it helps the aging process. Brings out a lot more flavors.
So you take it out of the bottle and you put it in a barrel.
Yeah. So I had one. No, you. So what I want to do is I want to get 2 bottles of bourbon. Let's say, right? Mm-hmm. You take 1 bottle, and I like to pour it in a decanter.
Yep.
Then I take this little piece of wood, which came from a barrel. So they laser cut it out of, and they cut like little notches in it. You can buy, they're really expensive, but they say you can only use them like once, but I'm going to use it more than once. So you drop this little piece of wood in your decanter that has one of the 2 bottles that I bought, right? Mm-hmm. You let that sit for 72 hours. That's the max time to tell you to let it sit. I don't know what happens if you let it sit longer. Maybe we can test that too. But I've let one sit for 72 hours. It enhances the flavor somehow. Mm-hmm. It changes it. How much, I don't know. But I'd like to see, without the piece of wood in it, what it tastes like, with the piece of wood, and then do that on a pairings show like we did today.
Okay.
I think that'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
Something I want to try. I also, one of the best 25-year-olds, probably one of my favorite scotches now, is a Glenmorangie 25 Reserve bottling.
They have a special next door.
They have it next door.
Yeah, yeah.
They have that next door. They sell a flight.
Yeah. They actually sell a flight of 18 and 20, 24 and another one.
And the 25. The 25 is the one I bought. It's about 200 and change a bottle. It's the only expensive bottle I've been buying recently because I just can't stop drinking. It's friggin' my favorite scotch, dude. It's so awesome. But we probably should do a flight, buy the flight next door, and then bring that on the show.
Okay.
And I mean, I have a bottle of the 25 as well. That is absolutely fantastic. I also picked up some Basil Hayden's special release, as well as some other rye whiskey that was rated really well in Cigar and Whiskey Magazine or something like that. So I got all that to pair with.
What are we going to pair that with? Because it's going to be bitey.
It's going to be interesting. The 25 Glenmorangie has some serious flavors going on, dude. Like, yeah, we're going to have to pair that with something that's got a lot going on. So I know you're going to say pork tenderloin, but it does not. It's like Joe's what are we going to pair that pork tenderloin?
Everything, all roads go to the pork tenderloin this year.
I get it. Until those are gone, dude, then I don't know where we're going to get more. Like,
I actually...
you have a source. We have a guy for that.
I found a package. I'm working on
procuring that package.
Yes, but...
I want to continue with the wines.
Okay.
I want to do some beer pairings, which is interesting because I cut back how much I've been drinking. Like, I'm not drinking a lot of whiskey, but when I find I do drink, I like pick one thing and I drink a smaller amount of it. So like if I'm gonna have a beer, like I have a couple of beers, and I've been kind of going back to wine just to change it up, you know. And I never mix. So if I start with beer, that's it. I'm there. I had this really awesome one from it's like from Uprising Brewery. It was it said that has raspberries in it, but it's not a heavy fruit beer. It was really good. I think that would pair very well with cigars. I say it was Uprising Brewery, and it was called Late Night Skinny Dipping or something like that.
What
was it called?
It was called Night Swimmer.
Night Swimmer.
It's called Night Swimmer. It's got
all the artwork on the can.
I got it. Yeah, it's called Night Swimmer.
Oh, was that awesome? And would that pair really well with a cigar?
Yes.
Because it's almost got like a champagne-esque kind of feel to it.
Yep.
So I definitely want to do a lot more pairings here.
Okay.
On Stogie Geeks.
Yeah, we can do that.
Revival, thank you, and it's brewed here in Cranston, Rhode Island.
Yep.
I thought they hit a home run.
Is that Kyle on Facebook?
No, Kyle. Kyle that works here.
Okay. Yep. All right. I'm blind on what he says. Gotcha.
So yeah, we'll be doing some more pairings. So stay tuned for the Stogie Geek Show. That concludes this episode. Thank you for listening and watching. See you next time.